सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. Can someone recollect anything that we saw last? We found the link and we move ahead. Yes, please. Yes, anybody? Anything that you can remember. Yes, Binaji to the rescue. Okay, thank you.
Lord Krishna says that those who are free from the ego of being the doer and those who are detached from desires and emotions, though they may kill living beings, they neither kill nor are bound by karma. That
Okay,
if it is their dharma to do,
yeah,
to
not
kill.
driven by personal passion or personal inspiration of I want to murder. This kind of what we can say that it is not for that. It is for the duty. Then it is
Yeah.
not a sin.
Then, then knowledge and the object of knowledge and the knower are the three factors which prompt action. And the instrument of action, the act, and the doer are the three constituents of the action. So, knowledge, the action, and the doer are said to be the three modes of material nature. Knowledge, which is in the mode of goodness, by which a person sees Samanta in everybody. This knowledge is sattvic.
It is a knowledge that is unifying. It is the knowledge that spreads harmony.
Yeah.
It brings
And
about reconciliation also.
yeah. And the knowledge by which man identifies many existences in diverse bodies is considered individual and unconnected in the mode of passion.
Okay, yeah. So the Rajas is creating the divide, no? The Buddhi Bheda, my
Yeah.
philosophy, my thought, my understanding, my ideology, all of it. Yes, please.
And that knowledge which perceives the whole in fragments, which is based neither on truth or there's no reason behind it, is said to be the mode of ignorance.
Ji. That is tamasic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And similarly, actions performed in accordance to the scriptures, which are free from attachment and aversion and without desire of rewards, is in the mode of goodness.
Hmm.
And those actions performed with a selfish desire, with ego, pride, is in the nature of passion. And actions performed with delusion without any thought to consequences or pain or loss to oneself or to others is the mode of is in the mode of ignorance.
Ji.
And a doer who is free from ahankar and attachment is endowed with enthusiasm and determination and equipoised in good and bad times, success, failure is a sattvic doer. And that person who craves for rewards of his actions, who is impure and gets moved by joys and sorrows, is doing the act in a mode of passion. And that doer which is in the mode of who is in the mode of ignorance is one who has no discipline, he's full of ego, is stubborn, is delusive, and has no object behind his
Logic.
act.
No logic also.
No
Yeah.
logic.
Just,
Then
just a
Krishna,
whim. Whim or somebody's personal whims. Today, this person may behave properly and there may be no logic behind behaving. Next day, without any logic, Rajasic will be driven by a logic of I want to acquire, I want to establish my supremacy, I want to establish my authority. Such a person will function. You can at least understand that. But Tamasic, you cannot. Most unpredictable.
Then Sri Krishna goes on to explain the difference in intellect and determination according to the three modes of material nature, that is Prakriti. The intellect is said to be in the nature of goodness when it understands what is proper action, what is improper action, what is duty, what is not duty, what is to be feared and not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating. And that intellect is considered to be in the mode of passion when it is confused between what is right and what is wrong, and in the conduct, what is righteousness and what is unrighteousness. And the intellect which is clouded with darkness, perceiving untruth to be the truth and imagining unrighteous deeds to be righteous deeds, is in the nature of ignorance.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I think that was a wonderful summary. So we continue now. Just as how we saw about understanding one's buddhi also is governed by the three gunas, just like that, we also have dhruti or determination. Determination is what allows a person to go ahead, isn't it? It makes a person go in a particular direction. It is the fuel for a person's life journey. It becomes so important. But you see, even determination can be driven by sattva, raja, and tamas. I can be determined and still do something wrong, isn't it? Because of my desires, I'm determined to, I will do this. Whether or not it's logical, I'm not able to understand. Then it's a problem. Or sometimes in tamasic manner, you are determined, you'll do something which is useless. It's like trying to count the sand in the beach. With determination, the person can keep sitting and trying to count. But is it going to yield anything? No. So like that, determination also, Krishna says, has three modes. Let's look at them. धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगिना व्यभिचारिण्या धृति सा पार्थ सात्विकी. When the grit and determination is firm and unwavering through yoga's regulated efforts and conditioning, when there is control over one's mind, senses, and existence, this is said to be sattva state of persistence. Means how is it? It is firm. It is unwavering. That is the discipline, isn't it? That is something which is founded on something which is not going to change. That person who has a very solid anchor, that person's determination is always going to remain. We saw that Dasharath Manji, isn't it? The mountain man. That was determination. Several years, hand tools, just hand tools trying to break down what? A huge mountain. 100,000 people would have told him, you are a fool. Your wife will not come back. This person has gone crazy. What is he going to get by doing these actions? Yet he continued, isn't it? He continued to do what? The labor of the gods. That was the human aspiration, and that was the determination. For that, you need to have some anchor point. For him, love was the anchor point. I do not know whether he was dharmic or adhyatmic or anything of that aspect. But for him, that was that. That was the anchor point. Something like that. We need a Shraddha sthana. But Shraddha alone is sufficient. I have faith in the divine. He will write my exam and he'll get full marks. We cannot do that, isn't it? We have to. We have to do the action. But action does not always give results immediately. Sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes lovers wait for years to unite. I read of a story. North Korea and South Korea, before the, what we can say, that division. These two people had met at a workplace. That's all. That is all. They did not talk. That is the typical old-fashioned, what we can say, love story. But they did not. They waited, and after several years they united. Now, what is that? That is a determination, isn't it? Like that. But here, what is the determination Gita is asking us to have? For the divine. For the divine, because that is the highest. Determination in seeking the divine. Shraddha should be there. Along with Shraddha, Saburi is equally important. The twin mantra, Shraddha and Saburi. Other one without the other is incomplete. So determination is not going to change a person. Determination will not change. The person will remain firm, irrespective of outer aspects. When the person is confident, when the person has Shraddha. Through yoga's regulated efforts and conditioning, when there is control over one's mind, then one's mind, senses, and also existence. Can we have a control over our existence? This is the important question. Anybody? I don't have control over my existence. Rainy season, I go, I eat pani puri, bhel puri, and then I get kapha dosha. I get what we can say this cold. So my existence is always dependent on seasons, isn't it? If if I don't have understanding of my kshetra, if I don't have understanding of my sharira, if I, if I don't have, I didn't eat any bhelpuri today though. I'm still having so, but yeah. So if I don't have an understanding over my prakriti, so here this is part of sadhana. You must understand what is good for your sharira, what is not, what is control over mind, control over indriya, and regulation in life only. Such a person, it requires great discipline. But people who follow discipline only are able to achieve great things. Without it, nothing can be done. Krishna also said, Yajna, it is a state of sacrifice. This Srishti is in a state of Nityam Yajna Pratishtitam. Long ago, second Adhyay, Krishna had told that this world is in the state of sacrifice. Sacrifice will take us ahead, but you are having the determination to continuously pour ahuti into that fire, and that fire keeps burning. That is Sattvic Dhriti. What about Rajasic? Yaya tu dharma kamarthan dhritya dharayatirjuna prasangena phalakamshi dhruti sa partha rajasi. Oh, Arjuna, when to attachments, the beings are firm, restlessly, wealth, righteousness, and desire, they affirm. Motivated by them, motivated by them, passion is their main feature, and Rajas is said to be their persistence in nature. When that person is having strong attachments, restlessly attached to wealth, property, my property must increase. If I interact with another person also, I will see to that I get some portion of that person's property also. That is everywhere it is about growth. It is about growth of personal. I want to leave my stamp. Righteousness. Sometimes people have a rajasic desire to assert their righteousness also towards others. My promise, my words, my understanding, my thought. The my becomes too much then. And their desires. So what drives such a person? It is only this. You take that out, that person will not have any other drive. Selfless action, what is that? Why is that? That is an aberration. Never do anything selflessly. Do everything selfishly. That is the Rajasic way. That is the Rajasic persistence. And passion is their main feature. Some people argue this is important. Without this, without Rajas, nothing can go ahead. It's actually false. Rajas will allow you to go up to a particular level that you can only see, isn't it? How much energy you have, that much only you can push yourself, isn't it? Beyond that, what is going to happen? So there it is important to connect with the higher and recognize that there might be things bigger than me. I may be a big fish, but I'm a big fish in a small pond. Tomorrow another big one may come, or I might go into another point and then I'll see, ki, what is this? This is a whole new world. I don't understand what is going on. So this Rajasic nature is a limitation, but it's not such a limitation as much as the Tamasic. Because at least Rajas will drive a person ahead, no? If you are an organizer, you are a HR manager, you have a Rajasic person under you. At least you can drive that person ahead to do what we can say without Buddhi Bheda, you can allow that person to move ahead. According to that Rajas language, that person will understand. Because some work will be done. It's not like no work is going to be done. No work will be done only if that person is tamasic. And that is the tamasic determination, which is the third type. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madameva cha न विमुंचति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ tamasi. When, oh Arjuna, one is full of ignorance, biding time in dreams, sleep, and indolence, filled with fear, foolhardiness, and depression, such a proud being is tamas in his determination. It is tamas only. Dire ego leads to depression. And a tamasic person is full of it, living in ignorance and happy in that ignorance. It's okay. I work according to these rules, which are not belonging to Prakriti, because I have descended from some other planet. That is what that tamasic person feels. Preferring to spend time in dreams, which not in reality, disconnected from reality. In sleep, laziness, not wanting to do, not wanting to come out of that shell. These are all tamasic traits. Filled with fear also. Fear also has some root, some origin in tamas, somewhere. Foolhardiness and depression. Such a proud being is said to be tamas in its determination. Excuse me. This tamas, because when we said gunatita is not rejecting sattva, not rejecting raja, not rejecting tamas also. So what is good in tamas? Anybody? So far we are only seeing bad, no? Sleep. Sleeping. What is good in that? What can you achieve through that?
Peaceful.
Yeah, isn't it, Manisha ji? If we allow it to be what like yoga nidra, you do shavasana, go into that state, higher states of consciousness. Who knows? You will go into Jagrati also. You might go into Sushupti, Turiya, whatever states, higher states, whatever are described. Mandukya Upanishad. Adi Shankaracharya told Nidra Samadhi Sthiti. So Nidra is like that. So, but that is a descent of that higher consciousness. What was Ananda? What was Laya? What was that supreme consciousness in the highest state? That came down into Sattva, Raja, and Tamas. So we can use these as a thread to go back to that state of consciousness. All right, maybe Sharira is not, Sharira is become Jada, it is feeling more heavy, it is bringing you a state of Tamas. All right, that time what can you do? Try to slowly come out of it, but understand that you're not going to crush yourself. If you crush yourself, you're in trouble. Yoga is also not about crushing, no? Yoga is about transcending. Even what we say yoga, most people understand as yogasana. So yogasana also, how is it done? Suddenly one first day coach says, come on, touch your feet right now. What's going to happen? It's not going to work. If somebody does try, it will have to be counterproductive. Instead, slowly, step by step, Shanaihi, Shanaihi, as Krishna said, slowly we'll go. We will not even know. When you look back, you've come so ahead. So it is something like that. So determination in tamas brings all these negative factors. If these negative factors are entering into your life, understand the cloud of tamas is coming into you. Start doing activities which will dispel the tamas. What are the this is laziness? Such a person is having unknown fears. Always, people have no 100,000 fears, unknown fears. They live by that. Something wrong is going to happen. I am afraid that something wrong, frightful will happen. Means you're having fear of being afraid. I mean, how is that logical? But we have all of these. So fear comes in, somewhere I've disconnected from the higher consciousness. Depression is entering inside. Same thing. I'm thinking of myself as too much. I'm not recognizing the divine's presence. Divine is a lot bigger than I am. Let me just come out of it. But that is why it is sometimes it is very strong. That is why sadhana is the basic kavach, and that is why sadhana must be done not only on Navratri, not only on special days. It has to be done 24/7, 365 days a year. If it's a leap year, make it one more day extra. Sadhana must be done continuously, otherwise there is always the risk. Krishna goes on. Sukham tvidanim trividham. Shruno me bharatarshabha. Abhyasad ramate yatra. Dukhantam na nigacchati. And now, Arjuna, listen carefully to me, for I shall explain pleasures three. By knowing them, you can be free of distress and dwell joyously and verily progress. Why is Krishna taking all these pains for Arjuna? For this only, isn't it? So Arjuna can be free of his distress. He can be free of the worries and dwell joyously, live in Ananda and verily progress. Is there a limit to progression? Not at all. And it is continuous. We have to keep trying. Progression is something that is what we are born for also. Evolution is taking place or not, whether or not we are aware of it. It is happening. When we are conscious, it becomes rapid. It becomes faster when you are conscious. So this is what Krishna is saying. Chalo, pleasures are also three types. Tamasic person say, oh, Krishna, here also, pleasure also, you are coming in between with three gunas. What to do? This is Prakriti. Yatadagre vishamiva pariname mritopamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. That which seems like venom, poisonous initially, but is an ambrosial nectar ultimately. From a satisfaction of the spirit comes that pleasure, and it is said to be of sattva's nature. So this sattvic pleasure, initially, how does it sound? It sounds boring, sounds difficult, it sounds yuck. What is it? It sounds poisonous. Detachment. Don't read Gita at all if it's going to talk about detachment. I cannot touch. I have possessions. I'm going to hold on to them continuously. That is the feeling, isn't it? Somebody who has not walked on the path of spirituality. What does that person think about spirituality? Generally, it is the opposite view, isn't it? It's the worst path. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't walk on the path of spirituality. Is there any special path paved by municipality for spirituality? We're all walking on that path, whether or not we're aware. Some of us are aware, some of us are being kicked around like a football by Prakriti. That's the only difference. Everybody is on the Adhyatmic Marga because Krishna has said, no separate world for spirituality and material people, another world. No, everybody is here. But somebody who is walking initially, you ask him to do what? Surrender. Surrender to whom? To the divine. How does the divine look? What is the height? What color clothes he wears? No idea. We can't see the divine. So you have to surrender to an unknown force, a force that you have not seen, force that you have not experienced. This looks like the most difficult aspect of life. I cannot surrender. It's what people say quickly and they give up. That's why they have the fear. No? But somebody who has surrendered, that person says that was the joy. That was the point of transformation. Look at Arjuna. Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. What happened? Vishwarupa ate him because he said this. No. Even Vishwarupa said, don't worry, don't fight, don't have any fear, I am there. So this unknown fear is there. That is what makes people feel like that. And sattvic pleasure is also like that. Initially it appears like you see medicines. How are they? Bitter, isn't it? How do you understand if it is good for you? Most of the time, if it's bitter, it's good for you. What is sweet is not really good for you. Why? What? What is this paradox? Well, this is the sattvic pleasure of life. Getting up early in the morning. Yes, yes, ma'am. Ji, tell
In that food, divisions of food, bitter comes in the Rajasic
yes.
classification.
No, that is better in the sense of the tastes which people enjoy Rajasic manner, no?
Uh-huh.
Better tastes which people, what we can say, Madhapan and all different people when they take some aspects, that betterness. Here we're talking about anybody eats, has anybody had a trifala? Tasted it
Many times.
many times. How is it? Tasty? Especially harda. Anybody can keep a straight face and eat haritaki. That
No.
person should be given gold medal. Because but haritaki is called mother. Yasya, yasya, nasti yasya gruhe mata, tasya mata haritaki. Means in that house where mother is not there or mother has gone outside, for that person, haritaki or harda is that herb is called the mother because it functions like the mother. You get injured also, haritaki lep is sufficient. You're having some trouble, you can have a kashaya of haritaki. It's something like that. So better, initially it is better. But afterwards, when it starts helping your body, what happens then? That becomes amrit only, isn't it? That becomes nectar. That is sattvic pleasure. Can somebody give an example of a sattvic pleasure? Any example? One, we saw the medicine. Any other pleasure?
When we do exercise or we go for walking, long distance walking, doing exercise, pranayam,
Yeah.
everything is we need a lot of energy. It's
Yes.
tiresome, but
Yes.
it helps the body in the long run.
Yes. Yes. Beautifully said, Mansi. Pranayam and all means like, hey, भगवान एक जगह में बैठ के भगवान को क्या मिलेगा मुझे क्या मिलेगा Nothing will, I will not get anything if I sit in one place. 5 minutes and it's a waste of 10 minutes of time or 15 minutes of time. But when a person starts doing it, then the experiences start coming. Kalpana ji wants to add something? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, any type of a hard work. Like when
Any
you're
hard work.
working, any hard work, it yields results. Similarly, students also, they work hard, then they get marks and they progress better. So
When
any
we
type
are
of a hard work is,
when we are learning something new also, no, ji? When we are
yeah,
learning
you're
something
learning
new.
new. Yeah,
If we feel
development
like,
takes
oh
place.
my God, my mind is not conditioned for this, I can't understand it, I don't like it. Initially, resistance is there, and then the
Mm.
resistance is overcome.
Acceptance.
Yeah, so it's something like it called the satisfaction of spirit. Same thing, path of the spirit also is like that only. It is sattvic pleasure where you get the experience afterwards. Initially, you feel it's a path full of pain and suffering only. Look at everybody else, they are so much better and happier without working on spiritual. But I only had to follow in this wrong direction, is what you feel. But slowly, as you walk ahead, slowly, then you start getting experiences. And then the doubt period gets over. There's a period of doubts. First part, no? The first part is always there. When you transcend that, doubt cease and then you start experiencing, Anubhav starts coming. Prabhu ko niyam badalte dekha hai. Suddenly you see, wow, this path was custom made for me. This was laid for me. That is the Ananda which comes. Ki, yes, I have been guided. God has been taking me. I can experience His presence. That is that's the biggest Ananda of life to experience that. So that is Sattvic. What about Rajas? Vishayendriya Sanyogat Yatadagre Mrutopamam Pariname Vishamiva Tat Sukham Rajasam Smritam. Remember Arjuna, he says, that which is born of sensual attractions, of senses, objects, and their interactions, seems nectar-like first, but is poison in the end. Such as a pleasure of Rajas one can comprehend. So Rajasic pleasure initially appears like nectar, but later on reveals its true character. That becomes poison. What happens to a person who gets addicted? Initially, it seems this is everything, especially the youngsters when they get into addictions. Drugs immediately feel like, wow, I'm getting such great experience. Some people, I remember they would, but the thing is, this does not change. When I was in college, also the youngsters were talking about this. Now it's been so many years. Now also youngsters, there's a group which feels always it's required for creativity and all of it. But it's not. Afterwards, what happens when the addiction takes control? The person is over. The person is finished. Initially, it seems good. Then slowly, what we can say, your dependency starts increasing. I remember my friend, engineering drawing, he could not move his fingers without shaking. He could not hold his, equipment properly in the hand. What has happened at such a young age? Just addiction only. Initially, it does not. It seems like it is nectar, but afterwards, it becomes poisonous. That is said to be Rajas. Any type of addiction, you can call it. Any type of sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures also, they will last only up to a point, isn't it? After a point, they will cease to exist. What is this pleasure going to be? Imagine I like sweets a lot. I keep eating sweets all the time. And then my body says, pancreas say, boss, ho gaya tumhara quota, finish. Now you are not going to eat. I am going to not be able to take care of it. Then it suddenly becomes, oh my God. And still some people say, no, doctor will look at it. It is doctor's job. I'll go get an injection afterwards. It doesn't, I don't have to look at my sugar levels. Isn't that a poison? What is sweet initially is turning out to be poisonous. Well, that is Rajasic pleasures. Rajasic pleasures are like that. Sattvic is difficult initially, but afterwards it becomes beautiful. It becomes Amrut. This is opposite. But at least if you understand and you understand its poisonous, you will stop taking it, isn't it? Somewhere you get the realization, you get the sakshatkar. Yeah, I was on the wrong path. So many people. My friend, one more friend, he started coughing out blood, and that was where he got enough. He saw blood coming out of while he was coughing, and that was the point. He decided enough, no more drinking, no more smoking. But then he got a different, he went on an overdrive, trying to convert everybody to his new religion, which he felt it was important that he should now convert and he will get some extra satisfaction afterwards. That was what he was feeling. But that is what we can say. Rajasic. Rajasic will tell you afterwards that you have made a mistake. You will get the rajasic person may get an understanding. But tamasic person, yes, Dr. Vidisha ji has written, yes, alcohol addiction, yeah, initially it stimulates the CNS. Afterwards, it's actually creating nothing but depression. What we say. Afterwards, you take it out, there are what we can say withdrawal symptoms also, and that become even stronger in some people. It becomes very difficult. But tamas is the danger. Yatadagre chanubandhe cha sukham mohanam atmanah nidra nasya pramadotham tat tamasam udahratam. The pleasure which is illusionary in essence, in both its beginning and consequences. It's sweet and bitter in the sense, or poison and nectar. It is what we can say, it's a metaphor. It's not literally the taste that we're talking about. But here, this pleasure of tamas is such a way that the person is trapped in the moha or maya. The person does not understand until the last moment, or sometimes even in the prayana kala, that person does not understand. Then part two of the movie has to continue for that person, even if that movie was boring. Second part has to happen now, and the story is not complete. Because that is a trap. The pleasure which is illusionary in essence, in both its beginning and consequence, that stems from sleep, ignorance, and a lazy nature, arising out of tamas is this pleasure. So Krishna says that is a tamasic pleasure, illusionary in essence. न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिर्जैर्मुक्तै मुक्तम् Yadebhi syat tribhir gunaihi. So Krishna says nobody can escape. Escape from what? From the effect of these gunas. I have done yoga sadhana, so the gunas won't function on me. Can I say that? No. Everybody, Deva also, Danava also, Pashu also. Pashu also, you can see three gunas. Anybody has pets at home? Yes? Anyone has experience with pets? No. All right, probably that is why they're able to attend Gita class. Otherwise, taking care of pets is another big responsibility. So, even in pets also, means they may be the same breed, same age, everything same. But behavior is completely different. One may have a sattvic, one may have rajasic, one may have tamasic. I remember Damleji's German Shepherd. He would come and attend yajna quietly. I would say at least see, he is sitting, so at least for that reason, I should also sit quietly for this much time. Look, he is able to sit quietly because that was his nature. But Damleji said there was another, he had previously another pet also. That pet was absolutely rajasic only. Means this effect of gunas is functioning on each and every one of us. There's nobody in the world who can say I escaped from the gunas because I have done this sadhana. This guna will not work. Who knows? Puranas are full of stories, isn't it? Where one moment wrong guna enters into a person says something wrong. Big story happens or big pramada only takes place. That person has to experience the consequences. Sometimes very harsh consequences. Why? Again, these are all lessons that gunas can function anytime. So we cannot say I just because I have this ideology or I have understood this, that means I will always be sattvic or I'll always be gunatit. Better not think of gunatit at all and focus on sattvic. Krishna will make us gunatit whenever he wants to, and let that aspect go. But remember, anytime, no being can exist on earth. Even in the heavens, no God has taken birth, who is not subject to nature's modes three. From its workings, all qualities come to be. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham, Shudranancha, Parantapa, Karmani, Pravibhaktani, Svabhava, Prabhavair Gunaihi, depending wholly on their birth nature. There are the quadruple divisions of equal stature based on the individual's tendencies or innate aspects. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, the four sects. So Chatur Varna, Krishna is introducing immediately a group of people belonging to one wing or the other. They will quickly jump and say, see, one will say, see, he is talking about this is the right thing. Another person will see, he is the one who has created divide. What is Chatur Varna? You will see now, Krishna is introduced. He has introduced four Varnas: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Four Varnas. How are they determined? Krishna says, go get Aadhaar card of that person. What is the father's name? What is the mother's name? What would they do that time? There was none of this, isn't it? Is it on birth? No, it's on birth nature, Swabhava. Sports person's child must be a sports person? No, it's not compulsory, isn't it? It's according to a nature a person should be able to choose. Not just because I'm born here, just because I'm born with this place or this situation, so I'll be like this. Can we decide somebody has less talent in the childhood, so he'll never have talent at all? Can we declare? Nobody can do that. Nobody can do that. It is all up to the individual. Identify the swabhava and then the pragati will happen. Imagine, no, so otherwise, greatest of great personalities our Bharat would not have received, isn't it? Imagine if Sachin Tendulkar's father forced him, no, you must go and sing classical music. Or Lata Mangeshkar's father forced her to go into cricket, become the first women's cricket player or something. They would have lost the greatest Ratnas. of our nation. So each of us has a swabhava, and Krishna is saying, let us look at this in light of these four varnas. We will look at the qualities and then we'll see whether Krishna is saying right or whether he's saying wrong. We have the freedom to think or introspect on it. Shamo damas tapah shaucham shantirarjavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. Performing penance, seeking knowledge with a forbearance, maintaining control with a steadfast perseverance. He is termed a Brahmin, who is pure, calm, and peaceful, for it is in his nature to seek the spirit and be truthful. So one is the Brahmin. Performing penance, such a person has a tendency to do tapasya only from the beginning. The person has what we can say an inkling or a kind of inner thirst. Okay, I want to walk this path. I want to seek the divine. Throw that person in any corner of the world, the person's direction will be the same only because that is the swabhava of the person. Sometime or the other, sometimes people try to crush the swabhava of a person. People try to, mask it with outer circumstances, outer hurdles. What happens? They don't succeed. Every action has equal and opposite reaction, and no matter how much, 100, 200, 300 people or 500 times a person may be continuously trying. But when that person connects with the inner Swabhava, becomes conscious of it, that Swabhava will take that person ahead only. So this Swabhava of a Brahmin is what? Performing penance, seeking knowledge with a forbearance, maintaining self-control, damaha, on the self. Like this discipline need not be imposed. It is self-developed inside of that individual. With a steadfast perseverance, sattvic dhruti, which we just saw, that is also there, ready to go, even if it takes. In sadhana, it is said to you should have that infinite patience when you are on the path of sadhana. Means ready to go on in your sadhana, even if nothing manifests. You will continue throughout your life. That is the, what we can say, approach. But at the same time, Sri Aurobindo says, when manifestation is happening and you become conscious and you have to participate, that time equal energy and equal enthusiasm and equal haste to bring about that manifestation. Without Rajas, I'm not talking about Rajasic. Means that's a very thin line. Very thin line. That is to be got. So here, this perseverance is there. Ready to go on. He is termed a Brahmin. Who is that Brahmin? Who is called a Brahmin? It is so clear here. It is somebody who is pure on the inside. Anything about Kula being mentioned here? No, nothing, isn't it? Nothing about Kula is mentioned here. He who is pure, he who is calm, he who is peaceful. For it is his nature to seek the spirit and be truthful. So these are what we can say general categorizations of what is a Brahmin. Let us see next. Shauryam tejo dhrutirdakshyam yuddhe chapya palayanam danamishwara bhavascha shatram karma swabhavajam. Who is that Kshatriya? Heroism. This person, he or she, born hero. Where that person goes, immediately people follow. Suddenly, this person may leave this usual school, go into a new school. There also in the new school, everybody is, he or she is the center of attraction. Everybody surround. Because that is a personality. Because that is a trait inside of the Kshatriya. Our class representative in college, I still remember him. Very nice, very humble, but very good in his work and a good leader. What happened is somebody out of politics, somebody used some tamasic buddhi to disturb him. And he said, okay, I am not going to stand for elections. So then another person got voted by default. But what happened is nobody gave importance to the person who got voted. Everybody kept looking at him and asking him only that we created a new post called ACR. assistant class representative, the teachers would also turn to the ACR as if there is a new post. But that is the Swabhava, isn't it? That is the nature of the person. A leader, born leader, heroism, high spiritedness, strong physical ability also. Means Kshatriyas are characterized by great physical strength as well. Daring in battle. They lead by example. They're not afraid of taking risks. Otherwise, people are very afraid, isn't it? What if I do this? What if I lose? Sometimes people are very afraid to even take the smallest step. But a Kshatriya is going to take the leap only. You say, no problem. Acha, challenge is there? Right, I'll dive head on to it, into it. Storm is coming, everybody's running on the opposite side. Kshatriya will go running towards the storm only. Ki, chalo, let's see how are you going to stop this. My mission is pure. I have a direction. I am going to not change that no matter what happens. And that is the leader. These are how leaders are also, born. That is the nature inside of them. Daring in battle with determination and gallantry, benevolence and a skill in leadership. Such is the Kshatriya's nature that commands lordship. Krishna said this, that there is a skill in leadership also and also benevolent. Meaning they are caring for the people who are under them. In that shelter, if there is a Kshatriya, the Kshatriya is also taking care of everybody. That is the nature. Such is the Kshatriya's nature that commands lordship. So this is another type which Krishna has talked about. Brahmin is there, Kshatriya is there. What is third one? Vaishya. Krushir Gauraksha Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam Paricharyatmakam Karma Sudrasyapi Swabhavajam. The Vaishyas are the craftsmen, the agriculturists, the cattle raisers, the skilled artisans, the businessmen, and the traders. So Vaishya is Vanijya or commerce. That's a different line only, isn't it? You give something and get something in return. Well, these are experts in that field. They can be craftsmen. Craft work is made. Value is, how does the value come? Value is created, no? Value is created from a raw material, a finished product comes in, and that finished product has a value which is determined by the craftsperson. So that is something. Agriculturists. Agriculturists also have to have good control over commerce. Cattle raisers, skilled artisans, businessmen, and traders. All of them come under the what we call Vaishya. And who is a Shudra? But the Shudras have only one aim in mind, to perform service for the betterment of mankind. Means Shudra is driven by an aspiration to serve. Serve whom? Well, humanity, for betterment of the world. These are the four Varnas. Has any Varna been told as superior and inferior right now? Nowhere, isn't it? Each has their own traits. Some may say Shudra is the most important according to the Gita, because Gita says you must live for what? For service only, isn't it? Service of the world, no? Loka Sangraha. So Krishna's closest or the most divine person would be that only. Yes, Raviji. Yes, sir.
Just a observation.
Yes, sir.
When we talk about this, all the four varnas,
Yeah.
in the current times, based on a simile, probably the people who have knowledge, they are the ones which are Brahmins. It's my interpretation.
Yes,
The
that's
people who are so-called Vaishya, they are all businessmen.
okay.
And the ones, Kshatriya, when we call it, they are all for performing the tasks which require strength, whether it is for defense or any other, heavy work.
Okay.
And fourth is Shudra, is all kinds of services.
Bharat also
Whether it is
service
courier,
sector.
whether it is
Service sector, no?
eating, whether anything, what you
Customer
provide,
service,
IT services, anything,
yeah,
who
everything.
are doing jobs, they are all Shudras.
Okay. So Bharat
I
is
don't know
that
whether
way.
it is right.
No, no, why not? Why not? Why not, Raviji? Yes, that way in this logic, if you look at it, most of Bharat is doing offering service only in the service sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yes, 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 absolutely. So this is what we can say. This is a bhava. Go into another country also, the same thing will be done to children in school, but they call it counseling. They start counseling and identifying where is the potential of the child. Identify swabhava, then career is suggested, isn't it? Now India is changing, I think. Parents are allowing children to take different careers. I remember my parents had taken me for aptitude test. I got aptitude for agriculture. They, they closed. I had a 5-hour test. I don't know what happened after that. All I know is the test reports were kept far away from me, out of my reach somewhere. And coincidentally, now I'm doing a lot of cultivation only, growing and putting plants. So a different, what we can say, aspect is there. So this aspect is, otherwise it becomes a problem, isn't it? Imagine biggest kabaddi player who has who is very powerful and very aggressive, means fully Kshatriya. He gets a job of becoming a librarian. What's going to happen? That library will fall down, no, very quickly. He will do kabaddi with the books only. Imagine asking that person to say no. He'll just say quiet, quiet, don't make noise, don't make noise. This person only is the one who's going to be making most of the noise according to the Swabhava. Or somebody who is Brahmin or seeking knowledge, only interested in seeking knowledge. Ask him to become the captain of a rugby team. What's going to happen? So each person has a swabhava. There's a reason this swabhava is there. But my question is, if you have to choose, which is important? One of these four. Yes, anybody? One of these four.
I think all the
All
varnas
four, all four.
All four.
need to be there.
Okay,
Four.
so Raviji also said all four, Binaji also said all four. Meaning, can you be multiple? Yes. Do we have any Shastric precedents? अग्रतश्चतुरो वेदा पृष्ठतः शरसन्धनु इदं ब्राह्मम् इदं क्षात्रम चापादपि शरादपि. Our Parshurama. He says, I am the Brahmin. I am the Kshatriya. I have 4 Vedas in front of me. Behind are my weapons. So I will cut with my weapons also. I can cut with my curses also because my yoga bala is so much. My tapa bala is there that as a Brahman I can curse you and just make you bhasma if I want. Equally powerful as my Shastric knowledge is my physical prowess. So Brahmin also, Kshatriya also. Like that, Termindo also asked, what is the caste of the soul? Can we say soul has any caste? No. And if you ask which is required, I think all 4 are required for us at every point of time in our life. I say I'm not very interested in commerce. If I say that and I go to the market to buy coriander and this person say, yes, yes, only 300 rupees. What will happen? I don't have any knowledge of commerce, so the person is made a fool out of me. I cannot be ignorant, isn't it? Sadhana is not about dwelling in ignorance. It's about losing ignorance. So there, commerce is required at all points. Otherwise, people will take you. People say, I'm not money-minded. And I think you should be mindful of your money, isn't it? Whether or not you are having any rajasic desires separate. But you must be mindful. You must be conscious. You must understand. You must understand the value of things. You must understand the value of whether not just money. You do a work. You do an action. You speak a word. You must have value for it. You must understand where you are using. So, Vaishya is required everywhere. Kshatriya, nowadays we don't have battles. So we don't need. Who says we don't have battles nowadays? Nowadays the battles are more complicated, isn't it? Earlier battles were all okay. Earlier, it would happen straight on the face, or weapons would be there and people would fight. Now these are mind battles, internal battles. Every home only battles are taking place. Kurukshetras, you're not look. Nobody wants to go and see Kurukshetra because they say घर पे ही है. It's going on. You want to stand by your principle, by your ideal. Shouldn't you be a strong Kshatriya? Or should you sacrifice your ideal just because no, I can't defend myself? Is there any definition that we need to have this many centimeters biceps to defend our ideals? Or we need to have this much physical strength? Or no, it is not, isn't it? We need that Kshatriya valor inside of us. That is something which was somewhere lost in Bharat. That is why again and again saints talked about it. Swami Vivekananda also talked about where is the Kshatriya? Rise, awakening is required. The Kshatriya is also required. Shudra, of course, if you don't do service, Yajna, Dana, Tapaha, all of these are required, isn't it? So this is Dana. Shudra is doing Dana. Kshatriya is doing what? Tapa. And what is the Brahman doing? He's doing the Yajna. Without Yajna, you will not receive. The light of fire is not going to be lit. So Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, all four are definitely required inside of us. If we are real sadhaks or integral sadhaks, it is time that we cultivate whatever is missing inside of us. But why has Krishna introduced this? There is a very important reason. It is for identifying your svabhava. Overall, you may have one of the four svabhavas. Identify your svabhava so that your svabhava becomes your mode for sadhana. Through your
like your core competence.
Yes, absolutely, sir. And then you can diversify, isn't it? Base is ready. Base is ready. And then you can diversify anywhere, at any time. So that is what sadhana is also about. Let's go on. We look at, I think it is time. So, yeah, we have some more time. We look at 3 more shlokas. Yes. Vivikta sevi labdhashi yatavakaya manasaha dhyana yoga paro nityam vairagyam samapashritaha. Controlling mind, speech, body, and ignoring materialistic company. Eating moderately, or for maintaining inner harmony. Seeking. Did I miss something? Oh,
You're reading the
Man,
52nd
50
note.
seconds. Oh, sorry. I jumped to because I made a long jump. 44 to 52. Sorry, let's go to the 45th shloka. Yeah, so Sway. Right. We talked about Swabhava. So Krishna is talking about the need for that Swabhava. Sway karmanya bhirataha sansiddhim labhate naraha sakarma nirataha siddhim tatha vindati tachrunu. A man who in his own works of nature perseveres, his skills mature, as towards perfection he nears. How perfection is achieved, I shall now say. Listen to me, as I shall reveal the way. So Krishna says, so right now he introduced to us, isn't Chaturvarna, according to Swabhava, not according to birth. Now he says Sway karma, means according to your Swabhava, you do your work. Here he says, a man who in his own work of nature perseveres, as I think Raviji talked about, core competency, develop your core competency. Then you are ready. His skill mature, as towards perfection he nears. How perfection is achieved, I shall now say, listen to me, for I shall reveal the way. Krishna is talking about how perfection is achieved. We already saw something about 5 factors and Siddhi, isn't it? 5 factors which govern the ground, create the ground. Krishna is talking some more about the aspect of how you can achieve that siddhi. Yataha pravriti bhutanam yena sarvam midam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. The creator of all living beings in the creation, the supernal one who brought forth every manifestation, by worshipping him through one's own work with devotion, a man can verily attain the zenith of perfection. What is Krishna saying here? It is so important. You worship the divine through your karma. Which karma? Anybody?
Which you enjoy the most, which you love the most.
I like sleeping. So, what I enjoy not doing work. So then, can I worship the divine through that?
No, because
Not
that is
en-
not the karma.
Krishna is saying, nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatum. Not a moment goes when karma is not being done in the Gita. So enjoying is the aspect of prayers. Enjoy is connected with pleasure. So enjoyment, yes, you can enjoy doing your work, but using enjoyment only as a madhyam can sometimes lead you to a different path. You have to understand what is shreyas and what is prayers. So enjoyment sometimes can take us away. So whichever work you are doing, means it's like doing what you love is one thing, but finding the love in what you do is even more difficult, isn't it? That is the challenge. That is the challenge. If Bhagwan, I have to do this coding work, I don't like it. Who knows, you will see Brahma in the code if you invoke, worship the divine. I am doing this for the divine. How can I do it for the divine? How can I do programming? What is there in programming which is divine? It is repetitive iterations only. No, become conscious that this action I am doing because I am in a position right now to serve. I am going to do this because I have been given this opportunity, isn't it? There are so many
As
people who... Yes, sir. Please tell me, sir.
I believe, when we talk about the karmas, I think there are two types. One is something which you have to do because you have taken this birth, you have a family, you need to do karmas so that you are in a position to bring up, your family and yourself. There is one type of karma which is related to you and yourself. In addition to that, the other part of the karma is whatever you do which benefits humanity is the second karma. So you have prime duty for yourself first and your family. And second comes that whatever next you do
Okay.
should be for benefit of humanity, whatever it is, in whatever way.
Now we have already created a divide between family and humanity then, no? In terms of karma.
Yes,
It is
I think so because
Dr. Abdul Kalam's
without the
mother,
first being fulfilled.
Dr. Dr. Abdul Kalam's mother,
Hmm.
she did not do anything for humanity by being a mother and raising Abdul Kalam with universal values, or that karma itself became a divya karma for the sake of the world, isn't it, sir?
Yes, she definitely supported, and
Yeah,
he in turn
yeah,
was it was possible for him to
yeah.
do because
Yes,
he got
yes,
supported. So
yes.
indirectly, she has benefited
Yes.
humanity.
So we can means in like I think I understood your point, sir, but maybe all actions like yad karma karomi tadakilam shambho tavaradhanam, as Adi Shankaracharya said, every karma or everything I do it for you. This is a song actually we grew up listening to, but this is for doing it for an individual. But instead of doing for an individual, if we do it for the divine, then Krishna says siddhi can be attained. Parents start singing lullabies for their kids and they become the best singers, just singing it because out of love. But when it is directed to the highest conscience, because when we identify it as like laddus made for Janmashtami are tastier, no? Always tastiest because it is offered to the divine. So offering to the divine is one way of getting siddhi, is what Krishna says. We look at two more shlokas and then we'll see
Yeah,
because
one second, sorry.
Yes, sir.
What I feel is that you cannot ask an hungry person to start
Okay.
doing all this, because first thing is he needs to ensure a minimum something. Minimum. I'm not talking about the luxuries and all that, Only needs
Hey,
must be fulfilled. For that, whatever karma is required, that is his prime duty. And
yes, sir, that is
then he should do
okay.
everything else.
Ji,
That's
sir,
what I
ji.
meant. Hmm.
That is your understanding.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
us
yeah.
continue. Yes, yes, sir. Let us continue. Ji, sir,
Yeah.
let us continue.
Hmm.
Hurry up. So, Krishna has said that worshipping the divine through one's own work. It can be any work. Means one person, Mr. Manimaran, I talked about. He saw somebody lying on the streets. Parents are poor farmers. He said, I cannot continue walking on this road just like that, letting that person go. Nobody is there to take care. Somebody asked him, how many people are you going to take care logically? Where are you going to get the funds to take care of these people? He said, I don't know. This is my svabhava, this is my inner calling, and I am going to do this. And that became his sadhana. He met yogis, he met yoginis, he found his guru in one old lady later on in life after. But so many years, 50,000 people, so many thousands of people got impacted by that one person. How, what? The divine does the work. We're not the doer. Divine starts working, but for that, we have to first offer. We cannot keep it to ourselves. Let us continue. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat swabhava niyatam karma Purvanapno Kilvisham. Krishna says, the duty towards oneself, oh Arjuna. Again, I went one more shloka again. Yeah, sorry. Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha. It is it is better to perform one's own work faultily than to, under a compulsion of law, perform perfectly. When one follows one's own inner nature, one incurs not any sin of any stature. The same yogi, the same Yogeshwara, Krishna, who has talked about yoga, karmasu, kaushalam, he's talked about the highest state of consciousness. He has talked so high philosophies. He is now saying faults are okay. How is this? What is this? Well, it's interesting. Means, what is he saying? It is better to perform one's own work faultily than to perform perfectly under a compulsion against your swabhava. Because when you follow your own inner nature, one does not incur any sin of any stature. Means to each his own. It is not a directive that everybody must do this thing. I felt this is my direction, and felt is the sense the inner calling, not just emotional. Today I am feeling one thing Rajasic. Tomorrow I'll have Tamasic feeling. Day after tomorrow, temporary Sattvic feeling. The grahas are different. Chandra is in good position. Sattvic sadhana. Again, it's not like that. Swadharma is that which does not change. Swadharma is your duty towards yourself. You recognize it, and even if it cannot be so grand, it may be simple, it may be humble, it may be wrought with some defects also. Krishna says it's okay. Then crushing your swabhava. Let us continue. Because when follows one's swadharma, you are not going to incur any kind of sin at all. We stop with the next shloka. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhume na agni dhumena agni rivavrutaha. The duty towards oneself, oh Arjuna, one mustn't forsake. Without abandoning works, in action one must partake. Even if defectively done, as all actions are cloaked with defect, just as the fire is masked by its own smoke's effect. So what is Krishna saying here? He's saying, never forsake your duty towards yourself. This is a very, very strong statement and very important statement. You have a swadharma, isn't it, towards yourself. For my best friend, I am going to sacrifice swadharma. Can I do that? For my father, I am sacrificing my swadharma. For my mother, For my beloved, for my lover, I am sacrificing my swadharma. Can I sacrifice? No, 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 not at all. Swadharma should never be forsaken. It's not true love if the demand is your swadharma has to be sacrificed. That is not. But swadharma is what we should understand. That is important. Your dharma towards your own inner self. Without abandoning works in actions, one must partake. Why? Even if defectively done, as all actions are cloaked with defect, just as the fire is masked by its own smoke effect. We will look at this. We'll stop with this shloka, but it is very interesting and quite contradicting. It appears on the surface that the Mr. Perfectionist, our Krishna, is saying faults are okay. He is telling us it's okay. Arey, everybody makes mistakes in the start. Anybody here has learned to cycle without falling down? No one, isn't it? We've fallen so many times. Then only we've learned. It is just like that. Krishna is saying, and he gives the example of fire without smoke. It's not. There is going to be smoke, and that smoke is coming from where? From the same fire. And what is that smoke doing? It is masking the brilliance of the fire. Sometimes there are big fires, and firefighters cannot douse the flame because the smoke is so much that they cannot identify how big the flame is. So it is okay, is what Krishna is saying. So far, we have been told nowhere that faults are all right. In sadhana, we are trying to overcome faults. We are trying to remove all that is imperfect towards perfection. Yet Krishna is saying this. Why is he saying this? We'll have to see. That we'll see tomorrow. Mostly tomorrow will be our final session. So it's interesting that our Yogeshwara Hari Krishna is telling us, he ठीक है. Faults are all right. It is natural. One thing we can draw in for till tomorrow, we will see why he said that we should understand. Next shlokas will give us the context, but at least this much we can say कि चलो ठीक है. Let's not be so harsh on ourselves. Let's not be so harsh. We do some mistake, then we become our biggest enemies. I'm so hopeless. I'm so XYZ. We keep adding adjectives to ourselves. It's not required. But when is this okay? Krishna never said ignorance is bliss. If you are following your swadharma, while following your swadharma, unknowingly, unwittingly, some mistakes are done, it's all right. He says it's okay. But don't ever forsake your swadharma. Why? Because we have only one life in this birth at least. Next birth, we can look at next birth's life, whatever it is. So in this birth, we've identified our swadharma. This is the only chance for us, isn't it? To live by that. And that should not be forsaken, is what Krishna is saying. So we'll stop with this today. If anybody wishes to summarize, yes, please, most welcome. Then we conclude after that with the Shanti Mantra. Yes, anybody? Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Anybody? Yes. Chitraji, yes, please. Most welcome. Thank you. I think every time
So-
Binaji gives the start and Chitraji gives the completion. Very lucky in that aspect. Yes, see.
Yeah, so Krishna begins to explain the different kinds of dhriti. So beginning with this sattvic dhriti or the sattvic determination, the determination that is firm and not scattered, irrespective of the external conditions, and the determination that is there in seeking the divine. Also having control over the one's mind and senses. All these are the sattvic determination. Then as the Rajasic Dhriti, the determination over the fruits of any action which is firm over the fruits. That is the core determination, and motivation solely comes from the passion that they have from the desires. So then we saw the Tamasic Dhriti, where it composes of unknown fears, sleep, depression. So that is the Tamasic Dhriti. And Krishna also explains that there are three kinds of pleasures. Sattvic pleasure is the one that is derived by walking on the path. Though initially it seems difficult, yet with persistence, when it is treaded on, the path yields desirable results, and the satisfaction that is desired is called as the Sattvic Ananda. Then we saw the Rajasic pleasure. So the pleasures that seem joyful in the beginning, but not really desirable in the end. So that is the Rajasic pleasure. And then we saw the Tamasic pleasure, pleasures which are illusionary both in the beginning and in the ending. And it's also the pleasures that are derived from sleep, illusion, and laziness. And depending on the nature of a person, there are four divisions called as the Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and the Shudra. So we saw the nature of who is considered as a Brahmin. So one who is performing penance, thirst for seeking knowledge, maintaining self-control, pure on the inside, calm and peaceful, truthful. And then a Kshatriya's nature is composed of Shaurya, facing the battle with bravery, strong, having strong determination, and also strong leadership skills. Then the Vaishya nature falls under the craftsmen, farmers, skilled artisans, businessmen, and traders. So they are all under the Vaishyas. And then the sole motto of the Shudra nature is the service of mankind. That is what we saw. And then Krishna goes on to explain how one can achieve perfection in the skill that one possesses. Um, that perfection can be achieved by worshipping the divine through these works, what they perform. And he also goes on to tell that faults in the works is acceptable when it is performed by the call of the inner will, and one should not forsake his swadharma.
No matter what happens, that is what we can say is the bottom line. And we have a very big tradition, Bharatiya Sanatan tradition. No? So many moments people were forced forced to forsake Swadharma, and many rather gave up their lives than giving up Swadharma. Because they wanted to, they said, this flame will not, body will get destroyed, but that flame will not. It will, that Jyoti will continue. That Jyot will light in the future generations, but I will not forsake my Swadharma. It is a very difficult path that they all had. I think we are all well off right now, isn't it? It was because of their sacrifices. And I remember my mother telling me about her Sanskrit teacher in school. So difficult her financial situations were, but she was doing it for the sake of Sanskrit, for the sake of it. My mother, while talking about her, had tears in her eyes because her situation was so bad. I went to her home to get notes. That time I saw because my classmate also was, uh, her daughter was my mother's classmate. She said, I saw, and in the class she was so strict, but in the house she was having such a small kitchen and she was making something. And I felt so bad to take their share of food, and it was so little what she was eating. But yet, you see, the Swadharma is against all odds. She stood, I will continue. I will do whatever. Right now also I came to know of a Gurukul where government, in Goa, the government is giving stipend, 10 rupees per student. What is this? Why are they doing what they are doing? Because it is important. We have to identify what is our Swadharma. And when we identify it, then never let go. It's actually the last Adhyay makes a lot of difference. Means it's the same principles which are there taught earlier. Krishna is summarizing, but is giving what we can say sutra for living, practical pointers. That's why it's called the Adhyay on Moksha or liberation. Moksha after life, forget that moksha. First get moksha when you are alive. This is possible, as Sri Aurobindo also talked about. So, all right, thank you very much, Chitraji, for the wonderful summary. Let's conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Any more queries if you have after that, you can take them. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. हरि ओम तत्सत्. Namaste Jagatguru. Hari Om. Yes. So tomorrow we conclude. Anybody has any queries? You are most welcome.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Yeah. Anybody? Yes. It was. Is it Dr. Vidishari or who was it? Or Binaji? Is
Yeah.
it? Yes, please. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this was against, I mean, I wanted to know the nature of these learned people like Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya. What is their nature? Like, is it Rajasic or is it Tamasic or is it a mix of both? And
We
how
can
they
call it.
attain.
We can look at that. We will look at it. Actually, there is means what they were all like. This is my Swadharma, isn't it? This is my Swadharma. They felt that, isn't it? My Swadharma is teaching me not to intervene when Draupadi is being insulted. Was that a right understanding of Swadharma or was it a wrong understanding?
Wrong.
So, wrong understanding, we have seen two types of what we can say wrong understanding. One is either tamasic or other is rajasic. So, it could, by default, this could be either tamasic or rajasic, isn't it? It was not rajasic because he didn't have personal desires there, no? So, it was a tamas, inertial ignorance. An ignorance that I should not intervene. Rajas was, I will serve the throne. Serving the throne, if somebody had taught him the spirit of serving the throne is ensuring a good king rules the throne, isn't it? Ensuring that the right king sits on the throne. That is service to the throne. But he again interpreted it according to it is my pledge, my pratignya. Mahabharata is about so many things that you should not do. Gita is about what you should do. So yes, Bhishma's pratignya, that was the fault. That is why Bhishma is, that was the only mistake, no? In an otherwise brilliant life which he was doing. But that mistake served a wrong cause, isn't it? So how do we, there is a shloka which is going to come, which is connected with dharma also. How do we identify personal dharma, dharma towards me? There is one dharma which is said to be higher than swadharma also. That Krishna is going to introduce. But before we identify what is higher, just like we can't do PhD right after 12th class, isn't it? We have to finish UG, then we have to do a PG, and then we become the doctors. Something like that. First, Swadharma is required. That is why Krishna says, identify Swadharma. After a while in your sadhana, we have to even let go of your own personal Swadharma also. When the sadhana goes ahead, no, means we all have a preconceived notion, no? I am walking on this path. I like this. I have my own understanding. So next I will do like this. But even that expectation we have to let go afterwards. But that happens, that is afterwards. But at least first is getting the ground ready with what your Swadharma is. So your question about Bhishma, yes, something was missing. But Bhishma was a great being, definitely. Respected, revered by everyone. Even Krishna, when Krishna had to teach him, no? Krishna took the chakra. Yeah, you are going against, this is not right. And I don't need a weapon, I can stand. In that time, what did Bhishma do? So wise, so great. He immediately dropped his weapon. He said, Krishna, if I have to perish through your hands, I am going to get mukti. It's okay, I'm willing. Again, that was his Brahmin nature, no? Understanding. So you can say there's always, that is why gunas are always flowing. We have to be ready. Today I finished reading the Gita. After that, chalo, I have taken Gita class, so I know what is correct. No, tamas will enter without my knowledge. Not backdoor entry, front door entry also will take place. So we have to be alert. Nothing else is the no substitute to sadhana. And without alertness, without awareness, or without consciousness, nothing can be done. But we saw example of Bhishma falling into a trap. We saw Narada getting trapped into Maya. I think we have to remind ourselves, let's be careful. We don't have to have fear, but at least We don't, so we shouldn't get trapped. Imagine, no, Krishna comes to tell us what to do and we say we don't want. Don't teach me. I have read your Gita. We can't do that. But that happens in life also. Yes, yes, yes. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Namaste. Hari
Hari Om.
Om. Yes,
I
Dr.
I
Alisha ji, yes,
wanted
please.
to like share one story of King Shibi. I think if I remember. So if
Yeah.
you please know, please share the
No, no,
story.
please, you share. No, you know what you wanted to share. So please go on.
So
Yes.
actually, there was a dove which came to his Sharan and said, "Please help me." And the hawk was coming to kill the dove because it is a natural prey of the hawk. But King Shibi said that do not kill this dove. Instead, the hawk said, "You let the dove, surrender the dove to me." So he said, "I cannot because the dove has come under my protection and it is my duty to protect." He was a very righteous king. So then I think Hawk said, "But then I will starve, and is it not your duty to even look after the all other creatures also?" So he said, "Okay, fine. Then I will give my flesh." Or he surrendered himself, or he gave his flesh equivalent to the weight of the dove, and
Yeah.
said that you take it, you eat it, and you be satisfied. But I cannot give the dove. And later on, it got revealed that the hawk was actually Lord Indra and the dove was Lord Agni, I think. Please correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong. I just
No,
remembered.
yeah, but the bhava is about Swadharma, no? Yes,
And they just wanted to test about the right, how righteous the king
yes.
was.
Maybe Raja, how he was, how much
Yes.
he was holding on to his Swadharma.
Swadharma. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
absolutely.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Hari Om. And what is your son's name, ji, Dr. Vidisha ji? He's a son or daughter? Your child. Yeah, you are on mute, so I can't hear you. Sorry.
Ovi. Gnaneshwaranchi
Ovi.
Ovi.
Oh, Naneshwaran. Okay, Ovi. Such a beautiful name,
Ovi.
no? Right.
Thank
Yes. Thank you. I was
you.
reminded of Avadhana Kala. Dr. Vidisha ji is aware of her child also and working also, everything at the same time. Yes, but Swadharma is how Ovi is holding on to her magic. Just like that, we should all at all times, because that is all that we have. That truly is the only thing that we have. If we lose that, we lose everything. So, all right. Then. Okay, thank you, Hari Om. Shivaratri, Ovi also. Shivaratri, everyone.
Shubha.
Hari Om. Hari Om. A very young age, she's learning, huh? Gita. We do not know what Ovi is going to do after very soon, probably.
I'm planning to send her to your teachings of Gita children
Oh,
once
Krishna's
she.
butter. Ha, ha,
Yes.
yes.
It's my ichha.
Only 8 years. Only 8 years more.
8 years,
Yes.
yes.
6 years or 7. Yes, someone more.
Thank
Well, Hari Om.
you.
Namaskar. Hare Krishna.